Prepare to be transported to the heart of footballing passion as we delve into the mesmerizing world of Italian Serie A. Join us on a journey through time and triumph as we uncover the untold stories of Italy's most illustrious clubs and their incredible league victories. Oh, and remember to hit like and subscribe for more football tales like this one. From the majestic dominance of legends to the breathtaking moments you've never heard about, Serie A has a legacy unlike any other. Not to mention some of the most fabulous crests and kits ever designed. Get ready to witness the magic of Italian football like never before. Are you ready to experience the essence of Calcio? Our journey begins in the early days of Serie A, where pioneers like Juventus, Inter Milan and AC Milan emerged as dominant forces in Italian football. Juventus, with their iconic black and white stripes, established themselves as perennial contenders, while Inter Milan and AC Milan traded blows in fierce city derbies, laying the foundation for decades of rivalry and success. Although, fun fact, do you know none of the above won the first ever Italian title? The first ever Italian league title, known as the Prima Categoria at the time, was won by Genoa Cricket and Football Club in the 1898-1899 season. The league format varied slightly from today's Serie A, with Genoa winning the championship after a round-robin tournament featuring just 7 teams. In that inaugural season, Genoa played a total of 6 matches, winning all 6 without any losses. They were dominant throughout the campaign, showcasing their superiority over their rivals. However, yes, there is a big difference between that and the 38-game campaign that Inter Milan have just won in 2024, and what we have become used to recognizing as a league season. But anyway, let's get back on the map. So, way back in the day, Genoa had loads of success, and a team called Pro Vercelli did too. They don't even exist anymore. When Serie A began under the new name in the 1929-30 season, that is when the big boys really came out to play and eventually asserted their dominance on Italian football, eventually becoming those famous teams that we all know today. Between 1931 and 1935, Juventus, who now have the most Serie A titles by some distance, won 5 in a row. Led by legendary players like Giampiero Boniperti and Valentino Mazzola, Juventus set the standard for excellence and captured the imagination of football fans across Italy. They won titles across the 1930s and 1940s, when their cross-town rivals, Torino, would you believe, also won 5 titles of their own. Torino may not seem like a big team nowadays, but they used to be just as important as Juventus in the northern Italian city of Turin, where both teams come from. Then, in the 50s, Milan and Inter started to come to the party. Inter Milan experienced a significant change under the leadership of coach Alfredo Foni, and with the emergence of talented players like Giuseppe Meazza and Benito Lorenzi. In the 1952-1953 season, Inter Milan clinched their first Serie A title in nearly a decade, marking the beginning of a successful era for the club. Known for their defensive solidity and tactical discipline, Inter Milan became renowned for their ability to grind out results and compete at the highest level. Meanwhile, across town, Milan also enjoyed success in the 1950s, building a formidable team that would go on to dominate Italian football. Under the guidance of coach Lajos Czeisler and with star players such as Gunnar Nordahl, Niels Lidholm and Carlo Anavazzi, Milan achieved unprecedented success, winning the Serie A title in the 1950, 1951, 1954, 1955 and 1956-1957 seasons. So, the Milan clubs and Juventus won every title available bar 2. Between 1950 and 1968, these 2 decades of dominance really showed who was taking hold of Italian football. Within that period, however, Bologna and Fiorentina both managed heroic league titles of their own, providing some brilliant colour and balance to the league. In the 70s, Cagliari and Lazio would both achieve top-of-the-table finishes. In the 80s, Roma and Verona would do the same. New winners and fresh impetus was affecting this league in a fantastic way, and foreign imports were starting to have their say as well. Michel Platini won the European Cup with France and was one of the best players on the planet. He spent time at Juventus in the 80s, and between 83 and 85 was the top scorer in Italy for 3 seasons on the bounce. Then, in the late 80s, he was somehow outdone by an altogether new level of footballer. In 1984, Diego Maradona arrived at Napoli. A shock move for a player of such quality. Why hadn't he gone to one of the best teams in Italy or the world? Diego had been convinced he could change the fortunes for Naples' football team and city and become a god in the process. That is exactly what he did by delivering the club championships in 1987 and 1990, the only 2 they had ever won in their history. Diego, one of the best ever footballers, helped form a wondrous chapter in Serie A history. Despite all of these lovely stories, the black and white stripes of Juventus, red and black stripes of Milan, and blue and black stripes of Inter Milan all kept adding to their league tally charts across these years too. And as the 90s arrived, their dominance would return. For 8 years in a row, Milan and Juventus won titles, as Inter faltered in their path. The shock of that decade came as Sampdoria clinched a league in 1991, and then on the turn of the century, the Eternal City, the capital of Rome, decided to have its say in the Serie A history books. Lazio won the league in 2000, and in 2001 a Francesco Totti-led Roma would steal the title from them, from the blue side of Rome to that rich dark red. The 20th century had come to a close. The big 3 had dominated and many stars had lit up Italian football, not least the world-famous Di Giuseppe Meazza, a footballing icon who left an indelible mark on Serie A with his versatility and goal-scoring prowess. Playing for Inter Milan, Milan and Juventus, he won numerous Serie A titles, showcasing his extraordinary talent and leadership on the pitch, forever etching his name in the annals of Italian football history. Did you know the real name of the San Siro is the Stadio di Giuseppe Meazza? In the 90s and 2000s, the Serie A was considered one of, if not the strongest, league on the planet. Between 1989 and 1996, 4 European Cups went to Italy, and then between 2003 and 2010, Italian sides brought home another 3 UEFA Champions Leagues, until Napoli won their 3rd Serie A in historic fashion in 2023. From 2002 onwards, for over 2 decades, only Inter, Juventus and Milan got their hands on the trophy in more years of complete domination. There was one blip though. The Calciopoli scandal was a match-fixing scandal that rocked Italian football in 2006. It involved several Serie A clubs, including Juventus, Milan, Fiorentina, Lazio and Regina, as well as numerous football officials and referees. Yikes, we have a video all about this event at the link below this one. As a result, several clubs were penalised with point deductions, relegations and fines, and numerous individuals were banned from football-related activities. Despite this rather large hiccup, the big boys kept on winning, even if Juventus did have to get relegated after Calciopoli, win Serie B and then get promoted and start winning Serie A again. In fact, Juve became so dominant that they won 9 league titles in a row between 2012 and 2020, a tough one for the Milan clubs and the rest of the country to handle. Whilst that was going on, Napoli and Roma kept swapping places in second, but the reality is that Juve were head and shoulders above the rest. Thankfully, the Serie A has had 4 different winners in the last 5 years, including the Big 3 and Napoli, 5 different coaches in those 5 years too. And guess what? Italians are being competitive in Europe again after a bit of a break from the spotlight. Is Calcio back? Stay in touch right here by subscribing to our YouTube channel and let us know your favourite ever Serie A players and teams in the comments section below. See you in the next video.